the ANC may eventually lose the ability to grow and to renew itself. So therefore, I call upon you to return to the militancy of the ANC Youth League of the 1944 era, to go back to the militancy of the ANC Youth League of the 80s and the 90s. This is your heritage. That is where you belong. That is where we want to see the ANC Youth League returning to. We don't want to see an ANC Youth League that is docile. We don't want to see an ANC Youth League that is asleep during a revolution. You are the revolution.
Yeah, you are the revolution. Think about that. What he is not saying is, you are the cannon fodder. You are the bodies that's going to fall in the street. You, not him. He's going to be safe in his ivory tower. You are the people that is going to be thrown into the meat grinder. The 8th of July 2023. This is a real what the fuck moment. And you need to listen to this speech by Cyril Ramaphosa and pay attention to the things that he is saying. You need to take it serious. And before you get this idea in your head that whatever I'm talking about has got anything to do with race or racism, shake your head and let that shit fall out of your ears. Because the reality is, you need to deal with the facts. Yes, the facts. Listen to that speech of Ramaphosa and then just think. He's calling you, the Sasa generation, to war. That is what he is doing. Now, take a look at this. Just take a look at this. You like to use that slogan, white monopoly capital. The principle and concept is not wrong, but you are making a big bloody mistake. You are making that concept and construct of white monopoly capital, you tie that to a race and generalize. Don't be stupid. What you are seeing on the screen there, that is white monopoly capital. Look at those faces. Look carefully. The hook noses are everywhere. That is the real enemy. The enemy of all of us. The enemy of you, the black person listening to this, and the enemy of me, a white person looking at that. Fuck all to do with race. All to do with evil. Now, those 6 men on that image is the global white monopoly capital. Keep that in mind. And then we get closer to home. Look at that. That is also white monopoly capital. Is it my friends? No. Is it your friends? No. Those are the people that are pulling the levers behind Cyril Ramaphosa. And freak out as much as you like. That is the facts. That is the facts. You think Ramaphosa's ANC is for black people. Get that shit idea out of your head. That top ANC structure is for the capitalists. That is what they serve. Then think back about that speech of Cyril, calling you to be revolutionary. What the hell is he talking about? You know what he's talking about. You, the sausage generation, and I did a video on that. You were bred for a purpose. They did not educate you. They did not provide jobs for you. They just needed your bodies. And they're going to fling that bodies into the war machine. You better think about this. You think you're clever. You better think about this. That is what they're planning for you. And if I say they, I'm talking about the XXX is pulling the levers everywhere. And because you're uneducated, you are too stupid to see it. Because you only react on memes and you react on slogans. Kill the boer, kill the farmer, one settler, one bullet. We want the land. White monopoly capital. Crap like that. That is what's flowing out of your mouths without you thinking about the realities behind the shit that you are talking. Cyril is lining you up. And in his mind, this is what you must go and fight. This is what he wants you to go and kill. But I've got news for you. These people are not going to stand and wait for you to kill them. They're going to fight back. And go and read up on history what happens when they fight. Read up the history. But this is what Cyril has got in your future. Look carefully. Look carefully. Look at those 4 guys lying on the tarmac there. That is you. Look at this image. That is you. But because your mind has been bemuddled and put through a food processor called media, and the mash that came out at the end was infected and spiced with racism, and that racism is making you blind to see what is actually in your future. Not in the elite's future, in your future. You are cannon fodder. You have been bred specifically for this. You were not educated. There were no investment in your future because they had a plan for you. And that plan didn't include a future. That plan was to have bodies to fling into the meat grinder. And you better wake up and understand that. And you may hate me and point fingers at me and call me a racist and call me anything you like. You must understand the difference between you and me is I have been educated well, and I was blessed with the ability to think analytically. I don't see a line, I see a lot of dots, and then I join those dots and then I see an image. And look at this image again. Those people lying there, that is your future. And you better think long and hard. And I have said it in previous Skidmarks. You, the sausage generation, have been divorced from your culture. You don't belong to a tribe. And that is what they like. So my suggestion is, get into your car, get into a minibus, taxi or what. Go to the rural areas where you think you are from. Because you were not brought up with that cultural ties. So you actually, many of you don't really know which tribe you belong to. Go to a place in the rural areas where you think you come from. And then you go and find old men of 50 and 60 and 70 years old. And then you go and sit down with them and start talking to them about your roots, where you are from. Let them teach you the value of Ubuntu. Let them tell you where you are from. Ramaphosa is telling you what your future is. Go and find out from the old Indunas where you are from. Learn about your history. You must do it. Otherwise you are not going to survive. The reality is we are living in an evil fucking time. Evil! You think you have value. Go and look what they did in the Middle East. 11 million people were destroyed with nobody talking about it. They're doing it in front of your eyes in Ukraine, in Sudan, in Pakistan. They're trying to do it in Iran, but the Iranian government is fighting it. So, don't sit in your little room with your phone and tweet shit and think you are important. Think you have value. You have nothing of that. You are just a pawn. You are cannon fodder. You are what they're going to fling into the meat grinder for them just to get more power and get more wealth. That is all. Nothing else. And you really need to go and connect with your elders. Go, you think they are stupid. You think they are primitive. You think they are naive. The reality is they have history behind them. They, the people older than 50, have still got pure memories of their culture. I am a very big fan of the importance of culture. And a guy that I'm chatting on WhatsApp with, me and him, yes, a black guy, me and him developed a relationship in 10 days that is actually a miracle. But it's not a real miracle. It is because two guys from different sides of the line decided to engage and talk to one another. And we forced ourselves to actually listen what the other guy is saying and think about what he is saying and then respond. 99% of discussions today, the party that you talk to don't fucking listen to what you are saying. When you start talking, they are already in their minds formulating their answer instead of listening to what you are saying and then think about it and then respond. Respect is something that has been moved and pushed under the bed. It is time to bring it back out and learn the value of respect. All people on this earth are not the same. Don't let this media tell you that shit. All people are not the same. We differ. But the differences doesn't make the one superior to the other. It is just what it is, differences. But the value of culture has been tossed out of the fucking window, and it is a disaster for the whole humanity. Culture is extremely important because that is the base foundation blocks of your being the person that you are. Civilization is the clothes that you've got on, but culture is the body. And we have fallen into this trap of staring at the clothes and not the body inside that clothes. And if we don't get that right, we are all doomed. Ramaphosa is calling you for a revolution. What sane man in 2023 in a multicultural country does that? A leader? No. A manager does that. Not a leader, a manager. And the big reality of a manager is he has to listen to the board of directors. And I'm going to show you this image again. These are the faces of the people sitting behind him. And before you DA supporters now start licking your lips and smirking, the same people are pulling your levers as well. These people are pulling all of us. And you are too blind to see it. The black people has been filled with that racist slogan of white monopoly capital, which they use freely without realizing what the hell they're talking about. And the white people, you hear about white monopoly capital and the only thing you think, it's bullshit. You better think, you are not safe. None of us are safe. Who can save us? Only ourselves can save us. Decent people. People that has respect for people. Respecting a person just for the simple fact that he is a human being. Respect him. You may not like him, but you have to respect him. Because if you respect him, you will allow him to talk to you and you listen. That is what respect does. Respect makes you listen. Why did the WMC media machine wipe respect off the table? Wipe culture off the table? You must ask yourself that. Because those are the things and the base elements. The whites came to South Africa in 1652 from European tribes that has been civilized. And their civilization technology allowed them the capability to come from Europe to Cape Town. What did they find here in the Cape? The Khoisan. Obviously, the Khoisan was not on the same civilization level. But this is what you must never forget. They were there. They also survived, just as long as that white people survived. What made the Khoisan survive? Culture. Their culture. Through their culture, they have developed plans and methods and ideas that made it possible for them to survive in a very harsh environment. Their culture. And you arrogant whites tend to wipe culture off the table. You just want to focus on civilization. Civilization is a construct. The fruits of civilization can be taught to anybody. Anyone willing to learn, anyone willing to listen, will take that civilization. But culture is something that is in your genes. It is something that is in your spirit. That is something that you have. And if you don't protect that culture, civilization will wipe that off. And that will be a disaster. Today, where we are sitting here in South Africa, we are sitting on the edge of a major fucking disaster. Socially. Constructed by evil people. You must think about it. South Africa has got limited resources of vital things to make life possible. Water, And this unbridled breeding of the sausage generation and this uncontrolled flood of immigrants into the country is putting millions and millions of people here that demand water. Without water, you're dead. There is a limited quantity of water. So ask yourself, these guys pulling the levers, they are not stupid. They got where they are because they're bloody highly intelligent. They know that this country cannot support those numbers. They know it. But they've got a plan for those numbers. They've got a plan for them. Look at this image again. That is part of their plan. You must understand, they wiped out 11 million people in the Middle East without being insensitive. Think about this. South Africa can cope comfortably with around about 45 million people, and everybody will have a living. How many people are in this country today? Nobody actually knows. I'm talking to people that are fairly knowledgeable, and I reckon there's around 30 million immigrants here. Think about that. 30 million. That's 30 million mouths that want water every day. There's roughly, the sausage generation is roughly 18 million. Think about that. That is a group of people with no future, because there was no plan for their future. There was not a plan for their education. There was not a plan for their jobs. There was not a plan for their careers, because they were bred for a specific purpose. And that purpose did not include a job and a life spanning 60, 65, 70 years. They were bred for the short term. And you better think about that. And then call me a racist. Call me whatever you like. I don't give a hell. You can do it. All I'm doing is I'm bringing you the message. And I'm bringing you facts that you really need to think about. And you must understand that if you do not have clear, solid ties to your tribe, you must ask yourself, why the hell have you been bred? Think about that, because it is dangerous. And I know this is upsetting for many people and disturbing for many people, but here we are. It is the facts. Listen to Ramaphosa. What is he doing in that speech? He's lining you up for your purpose. The purpose of being flung into the meat grinder. And that should make you very angry. Very angry. But not angry at me and whites and guys like that. Angry at the masters of that plan. That is where your anger must go. Your anger are being directed and managed for their benefit. Make your anger work for yourself, for your benefit, for your future. It is, I don't have the words for it. If I look at it, it is a desperate situation. How can it be rectified? If intelligent people that cares for their people is in charge with a massive lot of effort, we can fix it. But the people that can actually fix it will never get the opportunity, because their plans, these people that can, let's call them the fixers. The fixers has got plans that includes a future for you. The lever pullers don't like that, because that future for you is going to take money out of their pockets. Instead of investing in your education, They rather pocket that money and invest it in a Lamborghini or something for themselves. Think about that. So, sit quietly, think about this, then go and find that old Madala that you think is stupid and uncivilized and uneducated. Go and sit with him and let him talk. Don't you talk to him. Let him talk to you. What do you think have I learned from my elders and ancestors? It's impossible for me to tell you what I learned from them, because we will be here for days. But people, the youngsters of today, many of them, they think if we say respect your elders, we're talking shit and we're just trying you to protect us, the older people. I don't need your fucking protection. I don't need it. You are too vulnerable to actually be a threat to me. And this is the reality. But you have allowed the media to flush respect and culture out of your system. And you will pay for that. The Bible tells you respect your elders. The Bible tells you respect your parents. The Bible tells you if you don't respect your parents, your light will be blown out. That is what the Bible says. But that is only valid for people that are Christians. So, the reality is this. You have a major problem, but you identified your problem incorrectly. And now, listen to Ramaphosa. He's lining you up. You are the ones that are going to take the shots, not him. He's going to rake in the money. You will pay with your life for it. And that life that you pay will be converted into cash that he will rake in. So, be very careful. The old white man is warning you. Maybe you should listen. The white people came to Africa, and they were Englishmen, Dutchmen, Frenchmen, Germans. They landed here in South Africa and they started building a country. And what was one of the biggest things that you should see? They called themselves Afrikaners. Afrikaners. Not like the American blacks are doing, calling themselves African Americans. African Americans. That you must take note of. The Americans call themselves African Americans. Why do they do that? It is a desperate need to have a reminder of their roots, what they actually are. But here in South Africa, I'm not a French African, or you're a Dutch African, or an English African, or a German African. You don't hear that. We're Africans. Yes, we're Africans. In the late 70s, I started referring to myself as an African. And you can imagine the resistance I got for that, and I don't even want to say the words that I was called. But the fact of the matter is, that is the reality. I'm an African. I'm an African. But I'm part of the Afrikaner tribe. That is it. I'm part of the Afrikaner tribe. African, part of the Afrikaner tribe. Zulu, part of the Zulu tribe. But he's an African. But he's part of the Zulu tribe. The Khoisan, Africans, but they're part of the Khoi tribe. Think about this. This is what we have allowed the evil XXX to do to us. Wipe our culture off the table, wipe our sense of belonging. And that is what they want. The Kalergi Plan was published in 1924. What those hoeknoses really want is a world full of colored people. because they can control that. Because without your culture, without your cultural roots, you are a leaf drifting in the wind. You're no longer part of the tree. You have drifted away on the wind. And that wind will blow you wherever that wind wants. Because you've been ripped off the tree that actually gave life to you. And that is for every person on this earth. Why do you think the Russians are fighting like hell in Ukraine? For the preservation of their tribe. Don't think anything else. It is about their culture and their tribe. That is why they're fighting there. The fight was started because the evil XXX wanted to wipe the Russians out in the Donbass. And Putin had the guts and the conviction and the love for his tribe and his culture to say, stop. And today, he's fighting a war to retain and protect his culture, his tribe. Don't you forget that. You Sasa generation, you better go and find your tribe. Go and find your tribe. That is my message to you on this Saturday. Get off your ass and go and find your tribe. Because your tribe will remind you of your culture. And part of your culture is Ubuntu. My culture adapted and adopted Ubuntu because it is valid. It has value. That is why we look out for each other. Basics of Ubuntu. So, get that mash in your head that is made out of all this racism and hate out of your head and think about your own future. You must think about your future because unfortunately you've been bred to not have a future. And listen to what Ramaphosa is calling you for, a revolution. And the end of that, look at these people on the floor. That is your future. That is what they bred you for. That. But that's now enough. This is a Saturday. It's a day that we should braai. And we maybe just for a moment look around you. Look at the people around you. I go into town and I stop at the garage to fill my car. And the guy putting the petrol in my diesel in my car, we talk and we laugh and we talk about the weather and we talk about the children that are so naughty and we talk about the price of food and we talk about those things. And we laugh at it and we swear at the government and we swear at the politicians. He a black guy, me a white guy, but we've got the same stories, we've got the same issues, the same things is important to us. We don't want to kill one another. But the malemas of this world wants you to believe that every black man wants to kill a white man. That's what he makes you believe. But in his head is the image of you on the floor and the dollars in his bank account. Please give it a like and a subscribe and share the thing. And feel free to comment. I really appreciate your support. Thank you.